Wait a second.
You think it's the hero?
I don't know. We'll know in just about a second. Again, if you're just joining, we'll get started in just about a second. We're going to be live streaming this on YouTube now. It's supposed to be Facebook, but Facebook has failed us. Brooke, I'm going to put this link in the chat. And then, Brooke, you could email community and
Okay.
I just put that link in the chat. Did you get it, Brooke?
Checking. I got so much on my screen. Let's see. Yes, got it.
Awesome. So go ahead and just put that in the
gotcha.
email. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So again, welcome everyone. We'll get started. I'll give it one more minute as people come on, and then we'll get started through the coaching. So again, I'll give it one more minute as people come on, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna repost this on my Instagram. Again, we'll get started in just about a second. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone, super excited to have you all here. We're trying a lot of different things this week. The first is that, as you could see, the setup is a little bit different than previously. As you all are coming on the chat, last week we had a lot of different interruptions, like people not muting themselves, etc. So what we decided to do was upgrade to Zoom webinar. So this gives us a little bit more ability to control as people come in, but allows us to make sure that, it is quiet and you can hear what I just said or what someone just said, et cetera, et cetera. What you'll also see on your screen is the ability for Q&A. So that means, when you have a question, feel free to use that Q&A functionality. It allows me to see the questions a lot easier than actually going through, the chat feature, right? Because sometimes the chat, it could get lost, the questions that you all have. So this allows me to, really answer the questions that you have as well. So just really showcasing what that looks like. This is, no, it's not in here. Give me a second, let's go back out, etc. So again, we'll go ahead and get started. For the chat, feel free to chat, if you have comments, etc. For Q&A, feel free to click that Q&A feature that you see. Once you select it, then you have the ability to, ask that question in there, and I will get to it. So that allows me to not miss it as well. Cynthia, awesome. Someone in the group says they can't access the chat. I think you mean they can't access this, which we have sent out emails. Maybe they didn't check their email, but someone from the team will go into the group and post the Zoom link. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, tonight's session is a little bit different. We invited the outside public. They're currently watching this on YouTube right now, while everyone else is in the room as well. So again, this is going to be about 60, 90 minutes, group coaching, Q&A session. Hopefully you all know me by now. Head instructor, you probably see my ads everywhere. You're probably sick of me, but hey, you're here. Let's get started. You also know my team. We have Nicole, we have Jasmine, we also have Brooke as well. So you've talked to them quite frequently and often. Here's how group coaching works. So it's from 7 to 8. It may go a little bit over today. First, we're going to start with the questions in a Q&A form. I'll answer those questions first. Second, I'll open up questions to those that are in attendance. After I finish up the questions in the form, please feel free to ask questions in the chat as I cover other people's question. I'll circle back to those during, or at the end of the session. And lastly, if there's any questions I don't get to, please feel free to take it inside the Facebook group, and I will make sure I answer those questions in there as well. Awesome. So again, just to reiterate, for those of us that are new, there's 3 places to ask your questions, just regular, like on a day-to-day. One is the Facebook group. Please utilize the Facebook community. The purpose of running ads, if you try to do it in silo, it will not work, right? You will fail. That's why it's a collaboration effort. You should be collaborating on different copy, on different images and videos that you have, different language, that you have different funnels that you have set in place. You need that collaboration in order to get feedback. Feedback is super important into making sure you're avoiding a lot of the mistakes early on. Second place is just the Q&A form, right? Which I'll show you where that lives, a Q&A form, and then these live sessions. So the program teaches you a framework, and the framework is, okay, this is how you run ads. But then the live sessions are for, okay, Abu, I learned how to do this, but how can I apply it to what I'm trying to do, right? So live sessions is around strategy, right? So again, the course is around the framework. The live sessions is around strategy, just to reiterate that again. So let's go ahead and get started and dive into the questions in the form. Again, you have 2 features. You could either chat and add comments, etc., or you can hit the Q&A button and ask questions. If you're watching this over on YouTube, just feel free to put your questions in the comment and I will try to get to those as well. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're ready to go, give me a number 4 in the chat if you're ready to begin. And then I know, Brooke, you're about to send out that email. Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, Active Campaign is processing it right now.
Okay. Okay. My phone's blowing up. Let's see who can't get in. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have Jeremy. Jeremy, what's going on? Jeremy says, hey, Abu, does the frequency on Facebook ads matter when retargeting? In the past, I noticed that the frequency number was high because people seeing my ads, not seeing my retarget ad so much. No, Jeremy, frequency doesn't matter. Frequency doesn't matter because if you're still getting a return on investment, it doesn't matter how many times people are seeing your ad, right? Again, if you're still getting a return on investment, it does not matter how many people are seeing your ad. And here's what I mean. So frequency is on a scale of 1 to 10. And sometimes it could go even beyond that, right? So someone could be seeing your ad, let's say 1 is low, so they see your ad once a day, where 10 is high. Maybe they're seeing your ad 3 to 5 times a day. If you're making an ROI, so that means if you're spending, $20 and you're still making $1,000 or you're still making $200, then continue running it, right? So your main metric, right, which I call a primary metric, is your return. If your return is great, then it doesn't matter what those other metrics are saying because you're still making a return on your investment. Jeremy, does that make sense? Give me a 1 in the chat. That makes sense, Jeremy. Oh, my bad. Awesome. Okay, LaRon, wait, you even put it in here. Pronounce LaRon, what's going on? I'm having trouble with module 2. You advised us to put Facebook pixel on our website. I did, but it's pulling up a personal account. It suggests that I connect and attach products. Then it suggests WordPress, that I have a business manager, and I have no clue how to change it. Can you offer any, should I continue? Yeah, continue without adding products, right? LaRon, continue without adding products. Again, continue without adding products. Feel free to screenshot those screens and post it in the Facebook group, and I'll get a better idea and be able to look at that if I go into the Facebook group, but continue doing that without it. Now you get into Facebook pixel installation in module 5. right? So module 5, so right now in module 2, you're really not learning about the installing the pixel, you're learning about the pixel. But when you get to module 5, you learn about installing the pixel accurately. So just go ahead and capture those screenshots and post in the Facebook group, and I will be able to answer your question a little bit better. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome. Feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A feature, or if you're on YouTube, feel free to just ask your questions in the chat and I'll try to get to them. Amanda says, what type of images, videos do you recommend for abandoned carts? FYI, I sell 2 and 1 hair, body, and mango butters. So when it comes to products, Amanda, and I'm talking about whether it's skincare, body butters, right, hair products, the best abandoned cart is going to be a discount, right? You need to drive sense of urgency, right? The name of the game is urgency. Whenever you leave a website, you get an email that says, hey, come back and finish checkout. Hey, come back and get a discount. This is what research has found is converts the highest, right? Just give someone a discount code, right? Just say, hey, here is the discount code. And that would be your best bet in driving people back to go buy, right? Like number 1 would be discount code. And you use that discount code with product usage videos. People want to know and see visually you using the product. And so I will focus around capturing content around product usage, of someone applying the product or talking about the product or a testimonial at that stage. Lisa, what's going on? Lisa says, can you give a live example of ads for warm and cold audiences again? Thanks, my ads seem to get clicks and likes, shares, comment, but no conversions as well. Okay. Can you give an example? Let's see what is here. Lisa's. Gotcha. Right. Okay. I see what you're asking, Lisa. So first few things, Lisa, since you're driving people to a Amazon website, your dashboard isn't going to track any data besides clicks, because Amazon, you can't install your Facebook pixel. Does that make sense, Lisa? So therefore, you wouldn't be able to track a conversion if your ad had one. Lisa, give me a 1 in the chat. That makes sense, Lisa. Right. So therefore, you need a third-party application that's going to allow you to track if conversions take place. So without the pixel, remember, pixel is the code that we use to track, you know, what's happening in our website, etc. So your Facebook pixel is what's connecting, you know, your ads manager and also, you know, your website, where you're sending people to. When we have our own website, the websites we build on Shopify, on Squarespace, WordPress, Wix, etc., we own that website. We own it. Therefore, we could log into the back end of that website to install our Facebook pixel, right? Which is a code that connects both of the platforms, right? So the pixel connects our ads manager and our website. But when we go to a third-party platform like Amazon, right? So if this is Amazon over here, Amazon, okay, great, Amazon, it doesn't allow us to add our Facebook pixel. Facebook doesn't own Amazon, so therefore we can't go to the back end and add our pixel code on an Amazon website. Again, we can't add our pixel code on an Amazon website. Therefore, there needs to be something that connects Amazon and Facebook, right? So it's a third-party application that you're gonna have to explore I'm trying to think of the one from the top of my head, and I can't think of it. I'm going blank. It's called like Sniply or something. So let me see if I could pull it up. So give me 1 second. Sniply, awesome. Stop share. Let me reshare my screen. So this is a tool that allows you to create a unique URL, and they walk you through this. And that unique URL will allow you to track your what conversions happen that's connected between Facebook and Amazon. But as you can see, because it's a third-party tool, it costs, right? Because they know you can't do it. You can't install your pixel on Amazon. The only way to do it is like by buying this third-party tool. So therefore, they charge you for it. So I would explore Sniply a little bit more and seeing if you want to utilize that as well. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. So that's why you're not able to track any conversions right now, Lisa, because you need something to connect Facebook Ads Manager and Amazon. So check out Sniply, snip.ly. Yep, not a problem. Yeah, it sucks. These big companies, like, they won't let you connect. Like, even if you run ads to YouTube, you can't add a pixel on YouTube. So, like, you have to use the Sniply tool because it's a unique identifier URL. And that's so you have to use these third parties to connect, you know, two different extreme platforms. Okay. Chica, what's going on? Chica says, I'm tapping into a new niche that doesn't have a set blueprint that I can follow. Okay, a sticker company that is rooted in Black culture. A lot of people place stickers and appliques on their laptop, but they usually only come in possession of it by way of purchasing another product. Okay, I'm struggling figuring out who my target audience is, although I do have sales that span little over a year. Sales came from IG. I do have nearly 500 email subscribers, but do not get sales from there. I've attached my site, use Big Cartel. So one thing you may want to do, Chica, is, and this is manual, but it requires you to do more research based on the audience that you already have. So sending out a survey to those 500 email lists, people who've already bought from you, to figure out more about them. And when you go into module 2, right, really understanding your customer, and that even starts in module 1, interviewing them, setting up one-on-one interviews, because it's really critical to understand who your audience is, especially if you already have a list of 500 people that have bought from you, or 100 of them that have bought from you. Why don't you just start there and figure out common characteristics, right? And figure out things that, you know, are not common and say, okay, these are the people I don't want to target. So it may require you to really send out this survey as well. So, okay, Chica says no sales from subscribers. So how did you build up this email list, Chica, of subscribers? So Chica, I'm going to unmute you. Hey, Chica, are you there? Hey, Chica, do you mind unmuting yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, hi.
Hey, so how'd you build up your subscriber list?
These basically are people that I've worked with before. So that's how I know these people, former coworkers and colleagues.
You see why that's a problem then, right? Because the
No.
people that are on your email list didn't subscribe to what you're doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So you see why that's a problem when you're saying I didn't get any sales from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people are completely different. It's like me going to my past business and getting those emails and then letting them know about this new product where I can't expect them to convert because they weren't following me for that originally. Does that make sense?
Right, I understand.
And so what I would do is, have you had any sales yet?
I've had sales, yes.
Okay. So have you reached out or sent a survey to those customers who have bought from you?
No, I haven't. I
And
just promote it on Instagram and they buy it there, but I haven't done any legwork, I guess, afterwards, after the purchase.
gotcha. And you see how that would help you though. If you did just talk to them and get a little bit more insight so you had more direction on where you were going.
Okay, so you suggest that I survey the people that have already purchased.
Yes, yes. Just to gain more insight, because again, when you start marketing on Facebook, Instagram, the number one most important thing is going to be the asset. Like visually, what do people need to see in order for them to stop and then follow through? For example, I was in Chicago and I was shopping at this brick and mortar store and I wasn't going to buy anything. On my way out, I saw, and these were pins, they were selling pins, and I saw a pin of Michelle Obama, and I'm like, wait a second. And then right next to her, Coretta Scott King. And then right next to LeBron James. And I bought like 20 different pins that day, and each pin was like $10, right?
Okay.
So what are the things that are gonna make them stop, right? So it's how you also, the visual, whether it's video, whether it is imagery, that makes them stop and then take that next action with you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it does require some groundwork, but all the groundwork is just to set you up for better success.
I understand.
Awesome. I'm gonna click on your website in case anyone out here wants to buy. These are awesome, by the way.
Thanks.
Like this is awesome. This would be a good ad. You see how it's just like, it made me stop. Like I looked at all of them, but as soon as I scrolled, I was like, wait a second, what is that?
Okay. So you think I should do an ad,
And then,
like a video
once you
ad?
get, yeah, you should test out. Yeah, you should test out video and photo ads, different things, whether it's something similar like this or something different. But yeah, you should be testing out different content.
Okay.
You shouldn't start running ads yet though, until you get further along the modules. Like right now, you haven't installed your Facebook pixel yet. So you're not tracking any data right now. So it wouldn't be worth running ads right now.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yep, not a problem, Chica. Great question. This is dope.
Yes, get some sales.
Tabitha says, question, do I need to ask former customers, influencers who've I'm guessing bought our product for permission to use their pictures and ad? Tabitha, the correct and the correct and professional answer is yes, Tabitha. You should set up a sort of contract with them and, you know, making sure they sign off on it. But Drake says, you know, it's better to ask for, you know, forgiveness than permission. So, you know, take it as what what you want. But yeah, so yes, that is the professional way to do it. And so yeah, again, even if you're paying someone, and back in the day when run ads for beauty brands, we would pay these influencers $200, and it sounds like a lot, right? 200, oh my God, $200. But our deal would be, we get to keep the content and we get to advertise the content for as long as we want. That $200 would turn into $200,000, right? So we didn't care giving $200. There's still the market that doesn't know the value of their influence, right? And so again, like you run a business and you make the best deals for, you know, where you currently are positioned and et cetera. Those of us joining on YouTube, again, what's going on? Super excited to have you all here. Right now we're answering questions. We're answering questions for people who are in the community, and then I'll open it up for those who are watching and in attendance. Awesome. Amanda says, do I have to create separate lookalike audience for Facebook and Instagram, or just once, since Facebook and Instagram fall under the same umbrella? Amanda, you're correct. Just once. You just have to create it once, because Facebook owns Instagram. So when you're creating lookalike audience, it's covering, meaning you could run ads to both platforms. Again, you create lookalike audience for once because Facebook owns Instagram, Amanda. So again, Facebook owns Instagram. Therefore, you're just creating these lookalike audience ones, so they fall under the same umbrella. Okay, Farida says, I took your advice and redid my webinar landing page. It's a longer copy, so I'll be putting most of it on an ad. Let me know if this works for an ad copy. Awesome, so let's go ahead and check it out. So when we're building websites, especially for those of us that, you know, are doing webinars, right? And webinar, you know, you're sending someone to a free piece of content where you're giving them training and then you're selling them at the end of the training. Webinars are effective because it removes you, right? It removes you from having to talk to every individual person. Instead, you could talk to large groups of people at a time, get your message across, come off as an expert, someone that knows what they're talking about, and then sell them at the end. But in order to get them on your webinar, you first need to create something that is appealing for them to register and sign up. And so when we come here, you know, you have free webinar. And what is this built on? The Webinar Jam page? And let me just unmute you for a second, Farida. Hey, Farida, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, is this built on Webinar Jam?
Yes. Why? I don't know why the pixel is not showing up, but it has a pixel on it, but I guess not, so.
And then do you, what landing page builders do you have? What's your regular website built on?
Kajabi.
Gotcha. So, okay, free webinar, don't lose 30,000 to hackers, learn 3. I like the title is a lot better than what you had it before.
Okay, perfect.
3 things established small business owners should know to protect their clients and revenue, small business losing money. So I like it. This is a lot of information, right? You may need to break this down differently. So by titles, so maybe small business losing money, but then you make another big title. So that way you're just breaking down the content because people may not be reading all this. You got to give them the most valuable pieces of nugget that's going to make them convert and register for the webinar. So this looks solid on mobile. Just make sure, because on desktop, it's sort of like, again, break it down in a way that's more digestible.
Okay, perfect. And this works as an ad copy. So what I was going to do is take out most of this copy and only go into what we'll learn into the webinar when they get to this page. Does that work, or should I keep this?
And I would even focus on maybe your own personal story. Maybe you, right? Maybe you lost $15,000, you know, in March of last year, and what you went through, sort of the emotional roller coaster that you went through. Or maybe you lost $2,000, because all your audience wants to do in that ad copy is relate and say, wow, like, I don't want this to happen to me. I didn't know it could happen. Let me go find out more about it. Does that make sense?
Yes. So what if I didn't lose it? Because I didn't, but this is a real story where somebody who I worked with did lose 30,000. And so I kind of relate her story and how they were in 18 of their devices and they're there for about a few weeks or 6 months, and it taking her basically 2 years to recover. So this is a story that she allowed me to use. Okay. And is that good? Because I didn't want to, my personal stories, I'm in cybersecurity. I'm a cybersecurity professional, and I didn't get into the security field because something happened to me. I just got into it because I'm passionate about it. So how would I put a personal story in?
You would position your story within hers, because it's important they establish you as, okay, who are you exactly, right?
Perfect.
Like, you don't want them to click on the ad and then come here and be like, wait, who is this person again?
That's true. So even if I put my bio at the end, because I do say the host of the webinar, I should put my story.
In the ad copy though, I'm talking about the ad copy.
Perfect.
You need whether it's the 3rd paragraph down or 4th, like, you need to introduce yourself in that story of hers.
Sounds good. And I could do that in the ad copy, or do it in both the webinar, the landing page, and the ad copy.
I would do it in it's most important you do it in the ad copy, but I would do it in both places.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem.
And real quick question about the photo I use. Do I use a photo of myself do I use a photo of me helping other people, like a workshop photo, or just like you've been hacked type of photo? Don't lose $30,000 to a
I would
hacker.
split test different imagery. I would split test different imagery.
That's true.
So I would test
Okay,
all of them out.
perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, let's see what's going on. Hi, Abu. I'm attempting to set up an ad and freedom. I'm attempting to set up an ad. I've always done traffic. Now I am wanting to move to conversion. It is giving me an error message stating that I am missing a conversion event. And I think we talked in the Facebook group about this. FYI, I have completed all modules, started bonuses, and I may not be on the cloud class. Awesome. Okay, so Masi, if you're reading this, I think we talked about this in the Facebook group, but what she is asking is, when you go ahead and we go into our ads manager, so let me just jump into my ads manager, and in the ads manager, we're ready to run an ad. Remember, we don't click the promoter boost button. We run all our ads through the ads manager, Facebook ads manager. Once we're here, we click create. Once we're in the creation process of our ad, the first thing it's gonna ask us is, what's your objective? And for the purpose of this, we're gonna select conversion just to answer her question. We select conversion, and then we click continue. So she's asking, okay, when I am at this level, where it's asking me, what do I want to optimize for? It's at conversion. And then it gives you a drop-down list of things to select. Some of the things on here are red, right? If I go down here, are red. So she's saying my purchase says it's red. Do I still click on it? And I say yes, still select it. It's only red because an event hasn't taken place, meaning a purchase hasn't happened yet, but you could still select it, right? You could still select something that is in red, and that's okay, right? That's okay. So answer your question as you're watching this on a replay, that's okay. What should be my metric for conversion? I like it to be purchase ideally, but is that too aggressive? No, it's whatever the objective is. For Rita's case, her objective was to drive leads to her webinar, right? So her metric is leads, right? She's trying to get as many leads as possible. If you go into module 5, I have those, if you scroll down beyond the video, I have those columns that you should have, that you should be focused on depending on, what you're optimizing for in your business. Why are the metrics add to cart, purchase that are showing inactive? Do I have to create an event for these? No, you do not. How do I make them active? All someone has to do is add your product to cart and it becomes active. So don't worry about that. Again, it's red because you may have just created your pixel, right? And no activity has taken place since you place your pixel on your website. So that is why it is red. I use Shopify and followed your instructions, copy and paste pixel. Nope, you didn't miss anything. Awesome, great question. And this is what she's referring to, right? It's red, still select it, that's fine. That's where you would go to place your Shopify pixel, correct? Awesome, great question, Masi. Okay, Tabitha, what's going on? Would you mind giving me feedback on my website? Okay, check out your website. We are focused on kids' birthday parties, thinking beyond the current climate and return to normalcy. It is challenging to know when a parent has a kid's birthday coming up, since it happens only 1 out of 365 days of the year. How would you suggest we market to our target parents so we are top of mind when they're actually in the buying cycle? Yeah, so that's essentially, running more ads, right? So you are top of mind. Right? So that's what it would be. Or as you get customers, asking them for referrals, right? Say, okay, do you know anyone whose birthday's coming up? So essentially what you're starting to do is creating a database of not only person's first name and email address, but also when their birthday is and the people associated with them birthday is as well. There's also a targeting capability on Facebook. You could target people whose birthdays are in the next 7 days or 14 days or 30 days. And I believe you still could do that. So let me jump into the ads manager to see if that still is able. I haven't tried it in a long time. So you could target people whose birthdays are in December, in January, right? In February, in March, et cetera. So I would explore this feature of targeting people whose birthdays are upcoming. It even has, right, people whose birthdays are upcoming. It also, does it have days again? Let me see. Birthdays, last 7 days. Yeah, it has people whose, no, birthdays, next. Close friends of people whose birthdays are in a month, in a week. Facebook used to allow you to do anyone whose birthdays were in like the next 7 days. Let's see if they still do it for anniversary. Yeah, so you see how anniversary they do like within 30 days. I guess they don't do 7 days anymore. They start at 30 days. Gotcha. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so if we go to your, oops, I didn't mean to stop share. If we go to your website, here it is right here. Yeah, so what you would be doing is creating a lot of content, imagery, photos around, you know, like children, right? Or birthday themes. Maybe it's a changing graphic of different birthday theme ideas that they could employ. So what you would be doing is running this ad consistently into driving them to come to your website, either retargeting them with a discount or driving them to opt in to a list where, again, you're capturing their name, email, and even their birthday, right? Just so you have an idea, and you're building a database. So your objective is to build a database. But again, when you're marketing on Facebook and Instagram, it's always somebody's birthday, right? Because there's over 3 billion people that you're marketing to whose birthdays are up and coming. And so it's really going to rely on you, on your assets that you're showcasing, the photos, the videos, of filtering out who's going to take that next step with you in the process of your business. Tiffany, what's going on? Okay, Tiffany asked, I'm an events-based business with a membership community. At this time, I host event classes. I like to monetize membership. Can you offer any specific strategies around landing page opt-ins for membership to provide examples of other people in this community who have been successful, similar industry? What other advice do you have for pivot and focus on membership? Events-based business. So what would the membership be around, Tiffany? Let's see if Tiffany is here. Hey, Tiffany, can you unmute yourself? Golf instructions, gotcha. I'm reading down further, Tiffany. Golf instruction and membership community. Gotcha. Yeah, so this is definitely a challenge, right? Because if your specific thing is to teach people how to golf in person, then you may want to think different ways around that, right? So this is, okay, putting on your CEO cap, right? As a business CEO, okay, this is what's happening right now. How do I sort of pivot? And so if it's a golf membership community that you're trying to build online, maybe it is, you know, virtual training online. Maybe it is different type, anything that you can do that's not physical. But I probably need you to explain a little bit more in the type of membership that you're trying to build. So if you're not on here right now, Tiffany, feel free to jump into the Facebook group as you're watching this on a replay. I just completed module 3 and I'm ready to build a funnel. As it relates to the question above, I don't have a strategy for monetizing membership yet. So I still focus on creating a funnel without being able to host events. This would be a vital stream of revenue. Yeah, because Tiffany, when you're thinking about a funnel is, it's not just online, right? A funnel is also offline. How are you currently building, you know, how are people currently finding you, Tiffany, right? Is it word of mouth? And if so, if it's word of mouth, and they're coming to you, how do they even book you? Are they going to a website? Or are they just calling you on a cell phone and saying, hey, you know, tomorrow I'll be there, right? So this is a funnel, right? It's a step-by-step process to turn your audience into a customer. So what are the steps are they currently doing right now in order to be a customer, right? So yeah, you should still build out a visual representation of what that looks like currently, because that'll give you a better idea of what you need to do to close the gap virtually to drive people. Maybe it needs to be more seamless in your business. again, I think I need to know a little bit more about the type of membership you're trying to build to be able to better help answer your question, because there's a million ways I could go and answer this question, Tiffany. So please feel free to jump into the Facebook group. Julbert, what's going on? Julbert, what's going on? Hey, Abu, love your program. 2 questions. I noticed in your webinar that you're using Webinar Jam and it's recorded. Would you recommend that platform instead of a live webinar? Would you recommend that platform instead of a live webinar on Zoom? Well, Webinar Jam, you could also do a live webinar. I'm just currently testing out both live and also pre-recorded webinars. So you could do both live and pre-recorded on Webinar Jam. You could also use Zoom. So when it comes to running webinars, there's really no great webinar tool. Again, there's no great webinar tool. All of them have pros and cons, right? And pricing is one of them. So whichever one that you feel most comfortable with, that you could execute and get your message across, go with that platform, right? So I'm using Webinar Jam now. I get frustrated at times because sometimes it cuts out on me. Sometimes things happen. And so, you know, sometimes I jumped around and I'll like, okay, let me try Easy Webinar or let me try Zoom. So there's really no great webinars. You're only going to be testing to see what works best for you. 2, just started running ads and gotten a few leads for the webinar. However, my retargeting ad for anyone who fall off the landing page said active, but there's no activity. So I would say run more traffic. Right now, you may not be running to the volume that you need to. So run more traffic. It will turn active. So still leave it on because no money is being taken out, but there's going to be a threshold. And for everyone, it's different. Maybe it's 200 people need to hit this page for it to be active. So still leave it on, that retargeting ad for it. But you should be focused on running more top of funnel ads to the webinar rather than focus on retargeting people who don't register when they hit the landing page. Run more top of funnel ads. Dana, what's going on? There seems to be an issue with Facebook ads delivering since the corona crisis. Should we continue placing Facebook ads during this time, or are there adjustments to be made? So Dana, I would say, you know, everyone's business is a little bit different. With me, I'm still running ads. And so a lot of my colleagues, they're still running ads and they're still getting results. So I would say still run ads. You may wanna, you could lower your budget, but I would still continue to run ads and collect that data. And if sales or leads do happen, you have that as well in your business. Just check the chat. Okay, IG is now allowing you to boost, but you can see your metrics in your ads manager. Awesome. Okay. You could also target. Awesome. Would you recommend that we not use it still? I mean, I just don't use it. I don't boost or promote posts. You could test it out, see how it works for you, but Abu just doesn't. After running about 5 different ads, I've only made about 3 sales. It seems like I can make more sales by posting for free. What am I doing wrong? Again, you still have to test. And this is, you know, the $1 million question, right? And this is what me and my friend Maya, we argue about all the time. For any of you that know Maya, let me go to her Instagram. Y'all could go bother her. But any of you that know Maya, she's a content strategist, right? So this is Maya. And Maya and I, we debate all the time. She always tells me, Abu, I could just get on my Instagram stories, I could post a few posts, and I can make sales. And I'm like, okay, well, you should do that and you should run ads. But I tell her all the time, when you decide not to run ads, right, you leave a lot of money on the table because this means she manually has to post. And so we did a case study, right? So we did a case study over Black Friday. Maya decided, you know, to post about her deal. And so over Black Friday, she posted about her bundle. And I think at that time, maybe it was like $47 or something like that, right? $47 for her bundle. She got on Instagram and she posted, she did her feed, she did her live, live, she did her story, and let's say she sold 100, right? So she sold 100 of these and made 4,700 in that day. The next day she did the same thing. It's the same audience, right? Again, the audience isn't changing because it's on your Instagram. So now she sold this $47 thing, and maybe now she sold it to, let's say 10 people by the next day, right? Because again, she marketed it to everyone, hey, this is a deal. So everyone jumped on the deal. Now she's marketing it to the same audience. So now she made $470. Let's say the next day, she marketed, again, the same $47 product. And now she made one sale. So now she made 47. But let's say the next consecutive days following, she's making either 0 or 1 sale. So you're capping out at your audience. But what's the level of effort that she did in order to make these sales? So she would go and she did, 1 hour of Instagram Live every day, even the day she only sold 1, because she thought she would sell another 100, right? She would do 3 posts a day. So you have to ask yourself, what's your level of effort? Can you sell on Instagram? Of course. I go on my Instagram and I'll sell that way too. But majority of my sale, when she decided to do ads, right? So she's also in this group, in our group. When she decided to do ads, she would make 5,000. So she would make 5K to about 7K a month, not doing anything, not even posting, just straight from ads. And so it takes a while to test, but now you're making 5 to 7K consistently, not doing anything. You don't gotta post. You could go on vacation. You could literally delete your Instagram off your phone and you're still making 5 to 7K because your ads are running. So again, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with building a business every day that you're doing very manual activities? Or are you trying to build a systemized business that you're making consistent and predictable income? That's why we use ads. And so again, you may say, you know what, I'm just gonna post manually, that's okay with me, right? So you could do both, but the objective is to run ads because you wanna find more ideal customers. Whenever you're marketing to just your Instagram and the people you know, you'll always reach a limit, you'll always reach a cap. Because if you only have 100 people following you, well, you can't market to 200 because only 100 are following you. And so this is, the trade-offs. Does that make sense? Give me a 2. Whether you're in the chat, whether you're on YouTube, give me a 2 in the chat if that makes sense, what I just said. We literally debate about this every single day. Okay, Meg. Meg says, anyone seeing a downturn last couple of days? So Meg, different businesses. I have a few friends who are, I have a few friends who are not, and they're actually making the most amount of sales currently. So again, depends on the business. Again, what I would do is lower your budget rather than completely turn it off, especially if you're not driving sales any other way or getting leads any other way as well. Last week training, I said, now is the best time to add extreme value to your audience, right? Extreme value around the thing that you do, whether it's reaching out to them and doing a live demonstration, whether it's jumping on Instagram Live and doing, Q&A. Now is the time to do and give extreme value no matter what, right? And staying consistent during that time as well. Adelaide, with Shopify plugins for fashion? Adelaide, I think I answered this in the Facebook group. I would search our Facebook group because a lot of people have suggested different Shopify plugins, as well as asking, the community in the Facebook group for plugins around Shopify. So again, if you were to go into our Facebook community, Adelaide, you could then go onto the left-hand side and search, Shopify and look at the plugins that other people have been recommending already. So that's just a quick market research. It takes some time, but It's just a lot easier because you're seeing things that are actually working for people live and today as well. So I would go ahead and explore those plugins that are already suggested as well. Also, I was supposed to launch a new collection at the end of April, but not sure if this is still reasonable. At the present time, I've been able to pivot my coaching business. I'm still struggling to understand what steps to take with my fashion business. These are advice things. So I would suggest continue going and working your way. Going through all my, yeah, so I would suggest, especially, you know, you have this timeline of launching, you know, your fashion business in April. I would suggest, you know, when you go through the lessons and the modules I laid, to understand what you're going through, rather than just going through them to say, okay, I finished it, right? And that's my concern for a lot of you, right? You're checking it off, but you're not understanding what you're checking off. And that is, you know, that's an issue, because when it then comes to running ads, you're saying, okay, I went through the trainings, but I don't know what to do. That means you may not understand what you just went through. And so we could take this offline as well. And again, asking more specific questions in the Facebook group allowed me to help you out a little bit better as well when you talk about your fashion e-commerce. No matter what business you have, it's not worth the launch. It's not worth to rush a launch because you have this set date, right? Direction is much more important than speed. Again, direction is much more important than speed. I would rather you push your launch date back in order to get it right than try to rush it and then not get results, and you just rushed it and reallocated your time from other areas in your business as well. Adelaide, does that make sense? Give me a 2 in the chat, Adelaide, if that makes sense. Okay, Monica says, I began creating the ideal grand pearl communication customer, and soon I realized that looks different for each of the services offered, right? The customer wants coaching for a writing project is very different from someone wanting editing or proofreading services or consulting on a brand story. For the purpose of this course, would you advise focus on one service to build out the persona and potential ad? Yes, I would recommend one at a time. Again, one at a time. So yeah, you'll realize a lot of times customers do look different. You may be a business that provides different services, and your audience are also different based on where they are, right? They may be coming to you for a different type of service than, you know, what you're marketing, or they may be coming to you for exactly what you're marketing versus other things that you offer as well. So yeah, I would focus on one at a time and building out each of those personas based on the services that you offer. Okay, Corinthia says, although we're going through the module step by step, there are some things that we may have to come back to and just answer as questions we can. Yes, so because it's living and breathing, Corinthia, you will come back. You will work backwards as you learn more information and say, well, let me go back and tweak my funnel. So that's completely fine. That's completely fine. Do you recommend running ads on Instagram as well? Absolutely. You should be running ads on both Facebook and Instagram. When we're in our ads manager, when you go into, when we're running our ads, it starts at automatic, right? Placement says automatic, meaning that it's going to be shown on both Facebook and Instagram. If you click manual placements, it's showing you where it's going to be ran. Notice how it says Instagram feed, right? Facebook news feed. So it's showing on both platforms, Facebook and Instagram. But you should run your ads to both Facebook and Instagram. It shouldn't just be one platform over the other. Again, run your ads to both platforms. If we went into my ads manager, and I'll showcase it to you right now, one of my ad managers. No, you should be creating the ad on the ads manager. Again, you should be creating the ads on the ads manager, because again, you could then select that you want this ad to show on both Facebook and Instagram. And so if I went to my ads manager dashboard and I'm looking at, I'm gonna customize my dashboard really quickly. Dashboard 4, let's go to dashboard 4. I have a lot of different views. Let's go to purchase conversion. So this is telling me, okay, in January, I spent $100,000 in ads and I made $300,000. So if I just take one ad per se, and I say, okay, let me get the breakdown by platforms, right? Let me get the breakdown by platform. I can see, right, out of the $92,000 I made here, $59,000 came from Facebook and 33,000 came from Instagram. Imagine if I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna market on Facebook, I'm just gonna market on Instagram, right? I would have lost almost $60,000 because I'm not getting in front of those people. Right? So you have to be marketing to both Facebook and Instagram. Let the data tell you that 0 people bought from Facebook and you're like, okay, great. I'm gonna disable Facebook for this specific ad, right? Not for all of them, but for this specific one because I'm not getting an ROI for this specific thing. And so again, always look at the data, but you should always be running to both Facebook and Instagram when you start running ads as well. Awesome. So I'm going to jump into the Q&A that I see here. Stanley says, does it make sense to use a lot of ad spend on low ticket offer? Does it make sense? So Stanley, I would start with, again, $5 a day and testing that out. Again, with low ticket item offers, you can still make money from low ticket item offers. You just have to watch the numbers, right? So, okay, I spent $5, did I make anything? No, that I spent $10, okay, I made $20. You should still be advertising. Just because you made $10 and you're like, well, that's not a lot of money, but you're not looking at it in volume. Imagine if that $10 was $100 and you made 200, now you made 100 in profit. Imagine if that 100 was 1,000 and you made 2,000, now you made 1,000 in profit. So it's always a numbers game of looking at, you know, what's the ROI. So yeah, you can make money from low ticket offers. Corinthia says, one question I have is, how do you connect your ads to your emailing list or the abandoned cart? Do you have to send the ad to the email that has you have to send the ad to the email? No. So Corinthia, I'm not sure what module you're on, but in module 6, we talk about retargeting ads, and that shows you how to run a retargeting ad to people who abandon your cart. Okay, I think you said I answered your question. To capture abandoned carts, would you recommend that we just switch to Shopify, especially with the 90-day free trial? I have WordPress and I cannot track either. Yes. So I always say for people that sell e-commerce products, all roads lead back to Shopify because Shopify just gives you additional functionalities like WordPress, right? Doesn't. So yeah, you may use that. Again, I'm not an affiliate with Shopify. I don't know them. They was walking down the street, right? They would not recognize me. So I'm just speaking off of experience. I'm not speaking because I own stock or whatever, or I sit on the board of Shopify. No, I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. Corinthia says, how can we get surveys out from our email list? So there are a lot of different tools, Corinthia, for surveying. And for anyone who has done a survey that's in the chat, can y'all post in the chat what you use for surveys? I know Shopify has third-party plugins that allow you to do surveys, Corinthia. If you are on Shopify, you may have to search those out. Things that I could think of type in my head are like Typeform as well, Survey Monkey, Survey Hero, or other tools that people are placing in the chat to do survey. Elena says, I love Shopify and I'm a product-based business that offers services as well. So yeah, Elena don't work for Shopify, so she's just saying that as well. Honey says, hi, Boo, GoDaddy doesn't give you the ability to edit the email that goes out for abandoned cart. It's a generic, hey, you forgot something. Yo, GoDaddy doesn't want you to do anything. I'm able to add an offer and would like to. Do you know if there's a way around that or how to get the message out? Should I just switch platforms that are flexible? So yeah, so this is the question, honey, I feel like we always keep coming back to. And so, yes, you may have to, but in the meantime, continue, like, you know, as you're building this out, in covert. In the meantime, continue selling via your website. So just make note of all the things that, okay, this is the reasons why I'm switching over, because I need this, because I need that. But in the meantime, still drive traffic to your website in order to get the sale there as well. Freya says, I just realized my pixel for Webinar Jam was only on my thank you page. Right. So make sure you add it on, it's the same pixel for same business, right? 1 pixel for 1 business. So it's the same pixel that would go on the landing page minus the complete registration code. So in module 5, we talk about the thank you page code. There's a unique identifier that goes on the thank you page that's not on the landing page. So just look over that as well. So answer live, answered. Okay, so Tanya says, confused about module 2. Are we starting with the launch workbook and using the checklist spreadsheet to track what we've done in the launch workbook? Yeah, so Tanya, look at the launch workbook as a living, breathing document. And that's outlining, hey, these are the pieces that you should have. And so as you go through there, you should be asking, okay, the things that I've built already, my sales page, is this type of language on there, right? Did I build it out this way? Okay, I think I started to, but let me go back and iron out the details. So these are living, breathing documents that as you go through and you're asking yourself, did I do that? Or if you haven't done that, you're saying, okay, I need to build that. Tanya, does that make sense? Stephanie says, so Stephanie, ask your questions in the Q&A and hopefully I could answer your question. Again, for those of you that are on here, if you are having a challenge or struggle, you should ask a question, all right? Like that's the only way you get unblocked and unstuck is by asking a question. There's no such thing as silly questions. So ask the question. Zaina says, what is the best landing page website that we can use for free? All the beautiful ones on Facebook, I've not been able to replicate using MailChimp to send customers. So I'm not sure any that I could think of that is completely free. And for those of you that are on this chat right now, what are landing pages that you're using? Maybe some that are free, but also include ones that you are using. Again, I'm not sure if any that are free. Zaina, so I can't really think of any that are free off the top of my head. So most likely, I don't think there are. But for those of you who are in the chat, do you know of any best landing page websites? All the best ones are going to cost. So again, I don't know any that are free. There's Kajabi, there's Squarespace you could also use as a landing page builder. There's lead pages that you could also use. There's, Squarespace. Let me put that in there. Tabitha says, and Stephanie, I'm waiting for your question as well, Stephanie. Tabitha says, let me just click done. Tab says, what are good lead magnets for product-based business, discount codes? So if you're a product-based business, discount codes is the best lead magnet that you could use. Honestly, I've tried so many other different lead magnets. Discount codes are the best lead magnets. Discount codes for first-time buyers are the best lead magnets that you could use. Yeah. Okay. Explore website. And then I'll open up questions for, again, if you have a question and you are on this, the 70 participants that are on here right now, please ask your question. Again, I'm begging you to ask your question to get you unstuck and unblocked. Again, ask your question. Tabitha, I'm looking at your website. Shopify. So it looks pretty solid, Tabitha. I don't really see anything that, how would I access customer reviews? Tabitha, I would include a tab just for customer reviews. Oh, you have it already. I would also, Tabitha, if you get photos, I would include photos on this website as well. So another really great question. Tanya says, do you recommend doing webinars if you also create ebooks? No, for ebooks, you could, maybe you're doing a video series and then you're upselling your ebook, Tanya, or maybe, and then you're split testing that by just sending people directly to the ebook. So maybe one thing is giving a value first and then selling the ebook, or sending them directly. And what you're trying to do is test out which is your audience is going to convert more with. For webinars, do webinars have to be live? Anyone that's doing a webinar, and I know everyone wants to just do an evergreen webinar, right? We just all want to jump on evergreen webinars. Last year 2019, I did over 50 live webinars. Every week I did a live webinar. And you're saying, wow, Abu, that's so much. I don't have time to do that. The reason why I did 50 is because I was looking for one that converted well live. If your webinar doesn't convert well live, it's not going to convert well on Evergreen. That's one thing that I learned. It will not convert well on Evergreen. So the objective is to do as many live webinars as possible, and then look over the data and say, okay, this webinar number 28, I made $10,000 that webinar, right? Therefore, this has potential to go evergreen. So again, this has potential to go evergreen. So you have to do a lot in order to test out. But once it goes evergreen, then you're not doing the webinars anymore. But it's
I have a question.
Chika, let me finish answering this.
Okay, sorry.
Question. So it's really important to make sure that you're doing those live webinars, as many as possible, to get that data. Chika, what's your question?
What do you mean by evergreen?
So evergreen means they're pre-recorded webinars.
Okay.
So that means the webinar's already done and it's just a recording that you're watching a replay.
Okay.
Yep, great question.
Thank you.
Meg says, what are the best ads for service consultancies where we wouldn't be selling a product via website? So Meg, what is a service that you're providing? The best type of ads that I've seen in the past, because I used to run an agency, is case studies, is walking someone through, whether it's via a blog post, whether it's via a video series, of their pain point in order to get them to schedule that call with you, right? So those are the best ads that I've seen, because by then you have already qualified that customer that's coming on. You're not wasting your time. And so the best ads I've seen, if you're offering a service, is show them an example, show a case study, because the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in that blog post. The proof is in that video series. And then it's a lot easier to get them to act on that call to action, Meg. So Meg, is your service, you're helping people create educational courses? And Meg, let me find you. Meg. Hey, Meg, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, so we offer educational courses about dementia care. So educating people about how to provide better dementia care. And then the other product we have is, our main product is getting people to actually build very different non-institutional small nursing homes.
So the bigger question is, why would someone, why would that be important to that person that needs to do it? Why would it be important?
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand your question.
So my question is, the customers that you're targeting, why would that be important for them?
Oh, well, the customers we target are people who have memory care facilities.
So who are you selling to?
So that's one persona, the people. Oh, so probably owners and operators.
So why is that important to them?
because they want to differentiate themselves in a flooded market.
Okay, let's
And
dig
we have,
deeper.
yeah, okay.
You
And
get
then
where
what
I'm
about
going?
the other people we said are developers, like real estate, people who want to develop senior, what's called seniors housing.
So why would that be a benefit for them?
Well, again, I guess I have the same answer, to differentiate themselves in a crowded marketplace. Yeah.
Okay, both of them want to differentiate themselves, but what is the benefit for the developer versus the other one, the other operator?
Oh, well, the developer, they would certainly get a return on their investment.
Right, right. And what else? Why else is that important for them? Is it important for their portfolio? Why else is it important? And so my challenge for you is, as you have these people in your network, is to ask, why is this important for you? And getting to the layers, right? Why can't you do something else to diversify your portfolio? Why would you want to do this specifically?
Right.
You get, because that's the language that you're going to be using to market to other people that are like them. Does that make sense, Meg?
Yes, yes. And so you think case studies are the best?
Yeah, case studies are, especially if you've helped someone out already and you saw the transformation, because all people want to see is the transformation. Once they see that, it's a lot easier to sell them.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem.
I have a question, Abu.
Yep, Chica, what's your question?
Does every product have a pain point? Because let's say like an IG boutique that sells clothes, what would be the pain point there? Because there's a ton of those.
Right, right. And so every product doesn't have a pain point unless that clothing, was, as you wore the clothing, it was had solar panels in it that then powered your phone, right? So that's a unique identifier. So sometimes there are clothing that are like that, right? Where it's incorporated with also day-to-day life. Sometimes there's clothing that transform the industry, like the little black dress, right? When it first came out, it was something that people hadn't quite understood how to utilize it in the different functionalities, right? So there are people that make a garment for all-in-one purposes. So that's the benefit. So therefore that has, pain point that it's solving, from someone going from work professional to a happy hour to then later lay out at night. But sometimes that product doesn't. So you then rely on the content you create, that video you create, that photo you create. You rely on those assets to try to sell, whatever it is. But again, other people are also doing that. So what you're trying to do is create more content to see what resonates most with that audience.
Right, because I've noticed on Instagram, like a lot of the boutiques, they sell the same clothing item. So I was wondering, like, how would they differentiate themselves from each other? So I guess like a good photo, a pair of shoes, I guess how they style it.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, that is correct. Like this is something with irregular exposure, with just, we talk about this all the time, but literally this is her personal page. Let me go to her business page. Literally you create content, right? Like you take, because you never know, the thing with testing and working with ads you never know what content is the content that's actually gonna drive the sale. So you create content and you test out that content as well. You use user-generated content from your customers and clients also.
Okay. Is it considered stealing if you copy and paste their ad? Is that like, or is that okay?
Yeah, that's debatable.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cynthia says, I'm noticing that people seem to be selling products or courses. My items are a lot higher ticket items. I'm wondering if advertising on Facebook, Instagram will be effective for me, since I'm typing the target business and not individuals. Cynthia, what are you selling, Cynthia? Cynthia, what's your website URL? So you're selling signage. Huh. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So Cynthia, you'd still be able to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, but you need to make it easier for your, right, those are some logo designs. That's what I was just about to say. You need to make it easier for your audience or whomever you're targeting, right? Because that businesses are on Instagram or Facebook that need signage, right? So you need to make sure that it's a lot simpler process if they do see your advertising, how to lead them to purchase and buy from you as well. So there's so ads will work for you, but again, it's around that content creation process. And I keep emphasizing that because people don't move forward with ads if they don't resonate with the content that they're seeing. That's first and foremost, the most important thing around advertising is what are you doing to sort of resonate with those individuals? There's people that sell high ticket items here. I talk about her all the time. Yaya sells a $30,000 coaching program. People paying $30,000, right, to be in her program, which to me, to this day, I'm like, yo, I need to get into coaching. But so people spend money on high ticket items. It's really imperative that it's intuitive and easy to follow along when they do select that and move forward in that process. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump to some questions in YouTube and I'm gonna scroll through and then I'm gonna jump back into the questions here as well. So I'm just gonna jump over here. And Nicole, do you mind grabbing some of these from earlier on? So I'm just gonna go through some real quickly and I'm gonna jump back to the questions in the forum. Someone asked, okay, I think Nicole, you're answering these questions. Okay, cool. Nicole's answering the questions here. So I'll just jump back to here. The questions in the public forum as well. Live. Stephanie, really good question. So Stephanie, when you are in the module, and Stephanie asked, you know, how do I answer the questions in the module? So when you are in the module, Stephanie, and there is a question being asked, so let me just log into a module real quick. So give me 1 second, Stephanie, and I will answer that question for you. So Nicole, if there's any question you can't answer in the YouTube, just drop it into the Q&A and I'll answer it. But for the most part, you know, answer as many as you can. So Stephanie, when you are in the module, Stephanie, and there are worksheets, there are workbooks, right? But then there's also questions that I ask throughout the module. So maybe specify exactly, Stephanie, which question you were trying to answer. But let's say I am on the founder's inner story right here. And in the founder's inner story, I go to the first exercise. And this exercise says, you know, open the founder's inner story, crafting your brand story sheet. So you just click this link, right? You see how it's blue because it's clickable. So you click that link and it will open up the worksheets where you can actually answer the question. Now, I'm not going to open it up in this call here because I don't want to share the URL to the mass public. If I scroll down and I go to exercise number 2, and exercise number 2 says, click here to complete your exercise number 2. So what we're going to do is click the blue link, and therefore that's going to take us into answering the question. So that's how you would answer the question. But let me know if I answered your question, Stephanie. Teresa says, at what point in the ad process do we set up retargeting ads? Right away or after some data from original ads? So you can set them up at any point, but they won't fire until data comes through. So therefore, you could just start by running ads and then later on do retargeting ads. Jeremy says, I'm guessing this answer will be in the next couple of modules. Yep, it's actually in module 5. So it is in module 5 on the first the type of objective you should be selecting, Jeremy. Stephanie says, how do I answer the question in module 1? My clothing line is new, so how do I solve a customer problem? So you may skip over that question and come back to it, right? Again, it's a living, breathing document, meaning if you can't answer all the questions right away, as you obtain more and more information, you may circle back to that question and say, you know what, okay, I know how to answer this now because now I'm further along. So again, that you may have to circle back to those questions you can't answer right now. With t-shirts, you can't really solve a problem, but again, some t-shirt companies solve problems by, you know, donating to charity, right? When we think about 1 for 1, Tom's shoes, you buy a pair of shoes, right? So they are solving a problem. So it's not outside the realm that t-shirt and clothing brands can't solve problems, because we see it every day, right? But not all of them solve problems, right? And that's okay too. But there are some that do solve problems. So that's okay if it doesn't solve a problem. Yep, so Sonia, I would go through the bonuses. Crystal, before I started, got back something to say. Okay, Crystal says, before I started the program, I ran an ad and got back something saying that my ad was gonna convert less than others because it's misleading. It was just a quoted review a customer left on my site. My question is, what can I do to avoid this? The only thing I could think of is the customer wrote, it smelled so good. Doesn't sound spammy at all. And if the people that I'm targeting don't like the ad and click, don't show me this anymore, does that affect the ad performance? Yeah, it does. Or can get your account blocked. It won't get your account blocked, but it does affect the performance unless it's something so egregious, right? But by then Facebook would have sorted it out. But your question around the reason why Facebook showed that message your ad is going to convert less people, because there was probably a lot of text on the ad. So a lot of times what you want to do is put reviews in the copy and not the imagery. Maybe the imagery has the photo of them with the product or using the product. So that's why you do see that type of messaging. So looking at Tabitha, my product page isn't convert. I don't understand your question, Tabitha. Tabitha, can you re-ask your question? Yeah, Laurent, I would focus on one at a time. When you're focusing on multiple businesses, and my mentor used to always tell me, before you try behind the back passes, learn the fundamentals. I would try one product or business at a time rather than trying to do it for all of them at the same time. That's why, the work also seems to be like super enormous. Yeah, Stephanie, just to reiterate, it wouldn't be solving a problem. So you could just skip that question. TJ, so I have 3 business pages on Facebook. Every time I go to the ad manager, it pops up and then takes me to the business manager. So what should I do? So TJ, I would screenshot that into the Facebook group. It's a lot easier to walk you through when we can visually see that. And TJ, I'm not sure what module you're on, but when you go later in the modules around Ads Manager, you should be able to navigate from the Business Manager back to the Ads Manager. Okay, I'm going to take a few more questions, and any question I don't get to, please feel free to post it in the Facebook group and I will answer that in there as well. Carolina says, I'm at the part where I'm creating my customer persona worksheet. There are 2 tabs. One says old, the other is new. Use the new one. Yeah, use the new one. You could choose either or, but use the new one. Also in the workbook, all the tabs have the option to click yes or no if we have posted in the Facebook group. Now the worksheets have a link or mention posted. Yeah, so it's you can or you don't have to, but Facebook group is just there for if you want additional accountability. So you could post that in there. It's not part of the homework, but you can post it in there. Awesome. I'm going to go through a quick round and just answering a few more questions and I'll wrap up. Again, want to thank everyone for joining us. Super, super appreciate it. Please go into the Facebook group. Please, there's no such thing as a silly question, right? I'm paying people to answer your questions in our Facebook community. So I need you to ask your question, right? Ask your questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. Please ask your question, right? We'll have patience with you. And we also express that in return, right? Like this is a process. This is completely new for you. You've done it your way, and now you're trying it our way. And our way, it's a lot of work, but this is what it takes. When you see people making sales online, it's not magic, right? They're not just waking up one morning and just making this, like they're laying the foundation. And that's really important to understand. Like this is not an overnight thing. It's going to take time, right? It's going to take time to test, to figure out what's going to work best for your specific business, for that specific product or that specific service that you're selling as well. So I'm going to really go through these in a lightning round, these few questions, and then we will wrap up. Brooke says, no silly question. That is correct. Okay, Tanika says, how do you make money through Instagram? There's a lot of different ways. It's a super broad question. You could sell things. To make money, you need to transact something, whether that's a product or service. My product is being manufactured. How do I sell to carnival festival goers? People are still Instagram, Facebook, how to come up with their feed when they're looking at festival lineups and is this even possible? By targeting. You would target different events that were taking place revolved around carnival. So that's a targeting question. How would a business like mine be able to advertise online without breaking Facebook Instagram ad rules? I am in sexual and reproductive women's health business. That is very hard. That is very hard. You would have to market via other ways. Maybe it is doing a webinar and then, you know, selling people into whatever it is that way. But that's hard, you know, because Facebook has a lot of regulations around certain areas. So I definitely agree with you here. How do I target a niche audience with Facebook ads? How do I target a niche audience? So you would just target them. I don't know if this is a trick question. You would just target that niche audience that you're trying to get in front of. My Facebook and Twitter ads get hundreds of likes, but I'm not getting any clients, followers from them. What should I be doing differently? Hopefully you got some strategies from this session. Again, hopefully you got some strategies. So I think I answered that, Michelle. For a start business, okay. How many social media platforms would you recommend the top players? I don't understand that question. But if you're starting a business, focus on 1 or 2 at a time, right? It's hard to master all the social media platforms and dedicate time to it. Focus on 1 or 2. You suggest LinkedIn for your business? Yeah, it may help. I would say test it out and see if it works. What are the best app tools for creating discount coupons for your website? I don't know what website you have. There's a lot of different, but I would just go and Google top website. I'm at top tools for X website. And a lot of times you get a good idea on you know, those tools. And that's literally what I do specifically. What is your opinion on drop shipping? Nothing wrong with drop shipping. I have a drop shipping website that I make $6,000 a month from. So nothing wrong with drop shipping. With coronavirus, Facebook has reported that an ad spend on the platform has gone down. I assume this would be a result. People are spending less on ads because sales have gone down. How is COVID-19 affecting the e-commerce market? So if you're a dropshipping business that gets its supplies from China, it's going to affect your business, right? Because we're not accepting anything from China. So yeah, it will affect your business. As a CEO of a business, this is where you put on your executive hat and you start making the hard decisions, right? Maybe you need to scale back. Maybe you need to have more patience. Maybe you need to wait. Maybe you need to go harder, right? So these are, it's a personal question. How to turn followers into customers. Hopefully I answered that. Inside how ads work. Hopefully I answered that as well. Okay, how can I expand my classes outside of going to malls, finding parents, approaching schools, target inner city? While my organization for boys and girls, adults, most girls that are in middle high school are my crowd, but the people that pay are the parents, not those boys and girls. So again, it's around the content creation of what you want the parents to see as value to get them so excited to enroll their children. Is it slower to get signups in the beginning, but 1 month or a few weeks toward the show, they all come out? I need help because it's clientele. So whenever you're doing an event, most likely you're going to get all your signups closer to the event date. Whenever you do events, that's just a fact. Like, you know, yeah. How to gain more customers, marketing, get more sale. Okay, very broad. How can I get people to get interested in what I offer, and how can I sell my clothing? How can I be a public speaker? There's a lot you want to do. Start with one thing at a time. People need to identify you for something first. And then you also need to just get good at making one sale and one thing before you start 10 businesses that aren't making any sales. What content should I put on my ads other than sales and product? What content should I put on my first, second, and third ad? I get clicks to my site. So there's more to ads than, so test out different photos, videos, and see what converts a little bit better. What would you suggest to use Facebook marketing ads as an author? What would you suggest to use? I would share your story if you're an author. I've been running ads 5 days, free ebooks, my actual product, t-shirt, not seeing any sales. You suggest I start changing the ad in order to get conversion, get people to purchase. Yeah, so it's hard for me to give you advice on your results without seeing your results actually. Would you recommend using ads before making sales? Is it smarter to build up data behind comparison? It doesn't really matter, either or. What should I be doing from a marketing perspective while I'm testing my hair products, gathering feedback on the quality of my products pre-launch? You're doing it, right? You're gathering feedback. That's the most important thing that you could be doing. So once again, I know we had a full house. I want to thank everyone for joining the session. Truly, truly appreciate you all taking time out of your schedule. Go ahead, any question that I didn't answer, jump into the Facebook group, ask that question, and my team and myself will get back to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Truly appreciate it. If you're interested in the program, I will link it in the description. And for the students that did attend, again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining, and I will see you all in the Facebook group or during the next Q&A session. You all have a great one and have a good night. Awesome.